time for another chapter of Encyclopedia Brown, Boy Detective by Donald J. Sobol. And the title of this chapter is The Case of the Civil War Sword. So a sword looks kind of like that, or this one did. And let's find out why there's a question about that. A boy with red hair stopped in the doorway of the Brown Detective Agency. "Are you any good at swords?" he asked. Encyclopedia did not lift his eyes from his book, How to Build a Nuclear Reactor. "What kind of a game is swords?" he asked. "It isn't a game," said the red-haired boy. "My name is Peter Clinton, and I want to hire you." Peter put 2 dimes and a nickel on the gasoline can beside Encyclopedia. The coins clinked. Encyclopedia stopped reading. He looked up, very businesslike. "How can I help you?" he asked. "I have a chance to trade my bicycle for a sword," Peter said. "I want to make sure the sword is real." "You don't think the sword is really a sword?" asked Encyclopedia. "What do you think it is?" "That isn't what I mean," Peter said. "It's a sword from the Civil War." "There are thousands of swords left over from the Civil War," said Encyclopedia. "I know," said Peter, "but how many belonged to General Jackson?" "Stonewall Jackson?" gasped Encyclopedia. "The great Southern general?" "This sword is supposed to have belonged to Stonewall Jackson," said Peter. "Bugs Meany said so." "Bugs?" Encyclopedia straightened up at the name. "You want me to make sure the sword really did belong to Stonewall Jackson?" "Yes," said Peter. "Then you'll take the case?" "I'll take it," said Encyclopedia. "If Bugs is behind the trade, you'll need help." Peter led the private detective to the Tiger's clubhouse, an unused tool shed behind Mr. Sweeney's auto body shop. The Tigers were busy racing garter snakes. Bugs made a face when he saw Encyclopedia. "So Mr. Brains is now a Civil War know-it-all," said the Tigers' leader. Well, well, maybe you can tell me what Stonewall Jackson did at the Battle of Bull Run." "Which battle at Bull Run?" asked Encyclopedia. "There were 2, one in 1861 and the other in 1862. "Good for you," said Bugs, grinning. "Now, don't say this sword isn't the real thing." Encyclopedia walked to the table on which the sword lay. Bugs said this sword was given to Stonewall Jackson a month after the first Battle of Bull Run. "If that's true," Peter whispered. "If that's true," Peter whispered to Encyclopedia, "the sword is worth 10 bicycles like mine." 20, corrected Encyclopedia. "Read what it says on the blade," said Bugs. Encyclopedia read. "To Thomas J. Jackson for standing like a stone wall at the first battle of Bull Run on July 21st, 1861. This sword is presented to him by his men on August 21st, 1861. "The sword certainly has seen a lot of use," said Encyclopedia. "Did you expect it to look new and shiny?" sneered Bugs. "It's more than 100 years old." "It doesn't look like it was ever worth more than $5, Encyclopedia said. "Never mind how it looks," said Peter. "Do you think it belonged to General Jackson?" Before Encyclopedia could answer, Bugs spoke up. "I sure hate to part with the sword," he said, "but Peter wants it so much. I just had to say I'd trade it for his bike." "Trade? You won't trade with Peter," said Encyclopedia. "This sword never belonged to General Stonewall Jackson." "How did Encyclopedia know?" "The sword is worth 10 bikes like mine." There's a picture. So how did he know that the sword didn't belong to Stonewall Jackson? You think about it and tell somebody nearby, and then, do you know at the beginning I said this was the 3rd chapter? It's only the 2nd. Okay, so this is the solution to the case of the Civil War sword. As soon as he had read the words on the blade, Encyclopedia knew the sword was a fake. The 2 clues were the word Bull Run and first. Jackson's men, being Southerners, would have called it by the South's name for it, the Battle of Manassas. Bull Run was the name given to the battle by the North. Also, the sword was supposed to have been given to Stonewall Jackson in August 1861. No one could have known that there would be another battle at the same spot the next year, in 1862. Only after both battles had been fought would anyone have used the word first to describe the battle fought in 1861. Did you get it? Did you have it right? Ah, good job being a detective.